We can't let 2023 come to an end without looking back at all the amazing things that have happened. We've done some cool things personally, but we're really here to talk about you and all the incredible progress that you've made. We always recommend looking back and reflecting on your projects so you can be motivated for what's coming. If we can call 2023 a project, here's our version of reflecting and finishing it off in style.
Thanks so much for listening to the Declutter Hub podcast. Don't forget to subscribe to us in your podcast player so you don't miss an episode, and we'll see you next week.
Leslie, can you believe it? It's the last Friday of 2023.
No, I don't think I can believe it. The years are like hurtling through at a rate of knots, aren't they? It seems like yesterday that we did our looking back at 2022 podcast, and here we are looking back at 2023.
And that's another 52 podcasts we've done since then.
Like, oh gosh, can't believe we've done 50 podcasts. Whoosh, can't believe we've done 150 podcasts. Whoosh, can't believe we've done 250. Are we still going to be here at like 550? What do you think?
Well, we keep finding stuff we want to talk about, so perhaps yes. That's
maybe, yeah. Are we finding sensible things to talk about? This is the question.
Well, I hope so. I mean, I hope so. Our listeners are still here. Listeners, tell us, are you still here?
I think it's like 50-50 whether it's sensible or not. But anyway, we're still here. Someone's listening. Actually, 1.5 million of you are still listening if our latest statistics are anything to go by. So how incredible is that in 2023? We surpassed 1.5 million downloads for our lovely little niche podcast. Amazing, right?
It's incredible. I mean, this year was the kind of a big numbers year, wasn't it? 5 years of doing the podcast, 250 episodes, 1.5 million downloads, award pod nominations or shortlisted for podcast awards. It's like, wow.
And then we're going to be hitting like the red carpet next or something, aren't we? Like, who knew that little old Ingrid and Leslie could do all these these numbers, right?
But you know what, Leslie? You know what? I still love it. When we have a podcast, and we don't just record podcasts here, there, and everywhere. We have like a day when we record a couple of podcast episodes because we have so many. Like, we've never even repeated one podcast. I mean, there's a brand new podcast every Friday. So we record a couple because otherwise we'll probably lose the will. But I still laugh so much every time we have a podcast recording day. We love it, don't we?
We do love a podcast recording day. Yeah. So we start early. We start at like 9:30 in the morning, and we're still typically going at 5:30. And we do. Ingrid's saying a couple. Actually, our aim is 3 to 4.
Yeah.
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 Are we? So, spoiler alert: we are not actually recording this 2 days before New Year's Day.
No. But
as if by magic. But yeah, but we start 9:30, we go through to 5:30. How much time do we spend laughing, stopping the record button, making mistakes, saying, cut that out, Sandino, who's our podcast editor.
Yeah.
We do a lot of that. So, if we think that we're putting out probably 2.5 hours of content and it takes us all day, 8 hours to record.
I know, that's actually not really good. I think we need to do better with that, Leslie.
I know we do, but it's so much fun. Wouldn't life be dull if you were just like doing like work and being serious and stuff?
I know.
I mean, I think, what does the podcast represent for us? It kind of represents our ability to go out to lots and lots of people who need our help and are self-motivated to do it themselves. And we've got a lot of podcast listeners who are in our membership and like that additional boost of kind of more fun. I mean, not that the membership is not fun, by the way, but more kind of light-hearted stuff rather than something structured.
Yeah.
And we have lots of professional organizers listening to our podcast as well, learning their craft from the podcast or being inspired. So we have lots of different types of people, but every year that's gone by, we've got more and more people, and that makes us really happy, doesn't it, Ingrid? Because we think it's such a serious thing, decluttering, or, we try and make it lighthearted, but it's important for the message of decluttering to be out there.
Yeah, without a shadow of a doubt. And I think that we also, we've known that always, right? From the beginning, we were like, this is not kind of some little vanity project here. We really want to spread our knowledge, our love for decluttering. We want to help people all over the world. But I think this year we were like, wow, we're now going on for 5 years. We need to make it better every time. And that's what we did this year on our YouTube channel, haven't we? I mean, since 150, in the beginning, we only did audio on YouTube. And then we said, people, they were like, we want to see you when you're chatting and decluttering, talking about decluttering. So then from episode 150 onwards, we did audio and video at the same time. And then with episode 250, we're like, okay, we need to make the next step. And we made it all fancy. It's all fancy now with like nice colors and little, I don't know.
You like it, didn't you?
I do.
Fancy. You do love a fancy schmancy, don't you?
Yeah, I do.
Love a bit of our pink and green and dark green and fancy colours and transitions from one to another. You love that, don't you?
Yeah.
And Ingrid loves nothing more than seeing her name in lights. Yeah. When it popped up, Ingrid Jansen, she's like, oh, that would be me. Aren't you? She's terrible, honestly.
I know. Yeah. I know. And that is true. I'm not one kind of like a little wallflower hiding behind somewhere.
Exactly. So, yeah, the podcast continues to be amazing because we love recording it, honestly. How do we do it? We literally, I think we talked about this a little bit in the 250th episode, didn't we? So we have a few ideas on the back burner. If we think of an idea, we pop it into as that idea comes into our minds, we record it somewhere. And then when we look at the sort of schedule, we try and make different types of podcasts in a month. So we've got a variety. And then we just sit there at 9:30 in the morning and write our plan for that and then completely go off plan.
Yeah. Yeah, we do love going off a tangent when we're talking about stuff. But, I don't know. We still think that we get lots of lovely reviews. We get people commenting how much they enjoy the podcast. We get people, there was one little blip when we didn't go on YouTube one Friday morning because we were running a bit late. And immediately it was like, where are you? You like my Friday morning fix? And it's like, oh, actually, that thought it was very sweet, because it just shows you how loyal our listeners are. And because we just kind of speak to each other, but into the abyss, really. So we don't know. We just see on the numbers that there are people listening everywhere. But to get your feedback and to get your comments, and we try so hard to reply to all the emails, reply to all the comments, because we're just so grateful to each and every one of you that takes their time out to let us know that you love it and that we're doing a good job, or that you've got an idea, or there's so many wish lists.
And you know what? The icing on the cake was to be nominated and shortlisted for those podcast awards, Ingrid. That was incredible because, to be in the health and wellness category means a lot. For the podcast to be recognized in the health and wellness category meant so much to us. So I think it's fair to say, do we think it's the favorite thing?
Oh, I don't know, Leslie. Now
it's just one of a suite of things that we love. I think it's fair to say, more than anything else, when we are talking about our craft, as in on the podcast, in live Q&As, doing live video, doing challenges, that's when we are at our most buoyant and excited. We love it, don't we?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Without a shadow of a doubt. How lucky are we that we found something both around the same time, back around 2010, 2011, where we both realized decluttering and organizing. That's the thing. And we still equally have so much love for our profession, for our industry, for, for everything that we do. And yeah, it's amazing. It's amazing. But of course, we've not only done the podcast this year, have we, Leslie? I mean, that's just the beginning of everything else.
Yeah, should we talk about something that we like the outcome of, but don't necessarily like the process of? I think that would be fair to say, right? So podcast, great. We just sit here, we record, amazing, and off it goes, and off it goes to other people for them to work their magic. We do quite a lot with it, but the finishing off bit of it comes from other people. But social media is something that I then mostly get quite heavily involved in, right? Yeah. And it's a lot of work, isn't it?
Yeah.
But this year has been a little bit more fun because we've introduced new stuff, haven't we, Ingrid? What have we introduced in 2023?
Well, I think we can safely say our of course, we've got our Facebook page, we've got our Facebook group, and our Facebook group keeps growing and growing, and we absolutely love it. But we were always a bit rubbish. I think we can say that.
Oh, excuse me. I'm always doing this. I'm not rubbish. What do you mean rubbish?
Well, we were not
right. A single social media post in 5 years, and has the audacity to say that we were rubbish.
Oh, I'm sorry, Leslie. Oh, we need to cut this out because this needs to be a nice podcast at the end of the year. But I mean, let's agree that we were not very well on Instagram, were we?
Oh, on Instagram.
On Instagram.
I thought you said on our Facebook group.
No, you didn't let me finish my sentence. We were like fabulous on the Facebook page, the Facebook group, but Instagram, we were not at our best. Let's be honest.
Yes.
And then and this year you were like, Ingrid, come on, we need to up our game. And I was like, yeah, I know, but I don't know how to do that. And you said, come on, let's do this. And we did, didn't we?
We did. And we're having great success on Instagram, surprisingly. The thing is about Instagram, the thing which put us off was like, we know that Instagram reels are the thing. People like reels on Instagram, right? And most of those reels, so the ones that really hit home for people, are like less than 20 seconds. Now, anybody who's in our world knows that Ingrid and I do not do well in 20 seconds. We are more kind of 2-hour type people rather than 20 seconds. We can be quite long-winded, right? And so we were like, how are we going to say anything with any kind of substance in 20 seconds? Weren't we? That was our biggest worry.
I know. We enlisted help because we were like, we don't know how to do this. So we enlisted help. And it's really opened up a whole new world for us. I know I do. You do so much work, Leslie. It's incredible. I really, honestly, I take my hat off to you. And I mean, I know you're always like, oh, you're the nice one, and I'm the one, and I'm like behind the scenes. But honestly, I don't know how you do it all. You're absolutely fantastic, and you've done a lot of the social media work. But I do a little bit more filming, but the bulk of the work is in the social media. But we had to give you help because it was like, no way we can do all of this and try to squeeze that in our week, right?
Yeah, exactly. So I think so Instagram, which we've had Instagram for ages and we've put stuff out there, but nothing very inspiring, I would say. It just was a bit functional, right? So I think probably July in 2023 we were like, okay, it's time. So we got some help in, someone to direct us about the world and the ways that Instagram hits home with people. Because it's important for us to find, new people to share our messaging with and then to bring them into the podcast. And that's kind of the way that we want to do it. So Instagram's important for that. But it's actually been quite good fun, right? Hasn't it? Yeah. Instagram. I have made a complete fool of myself. And very early into the process, I told the lady who does our Instagram reels, I was like, I'm not doing any of those things that make you look completely stupid. Those are all going to Ingrid. So I'm not doing it. I was literally getting annihilated by my whole family and friends. I was like, no, not doing that anymore. Ingrid's doing that. So if you see any crazy pointing videos, that will all be Ingrid. There's one of my clients said to me last week, whenever I'm feeling a little bit down, I always go back to the pointing video of you to make myself laugh. So if you want to see what people are talking about, go back to, I don't know, June, July time. And there's one where I decided that it was a really good idea to start acting. Like I feel like it was like, I don't know really. So yeah. So, but all those are gone. Now I'm just a serious one behind the camera. I think it was the kind of less serious, stupid one, basically.
And I am absolutely fine with that. But yeah, we're having fun. We're having fun with it. And I never thought I would say that, because I thought, oh no, that's not for us. But yeah, I'm really enjoying it. Although, not gonna lie, it's a lot of work to do filming.
It is, but what was really interesting in sort of like, we had a couple of what you would consider to be viral reels. And so anybody who doesn't know what viral is, kind of when it goes outside your own kind of circles. And so obviously got followers on Instagram, followers on your Facebook page, but then Facebook or Instagram can kind of push that out to people that are not within your own audience. And that's when a reel or a video or whatever goes viral. So we had a couple of examples of where the first one was a little bit crazy, right, Ingrid? Because we went viral for all the wrong reasons. It was our first experience, and it kind of took us a little bit unawares, didn't it?
Yeah.
So basically, one of our videos, the text on it was quite speedy. So there was like a load of text on the actual reel that you kind of bet you couldn't read fast enough. And so often on Instagram, you have to pause the reel to be able to read it through. And so we had a lot of people that were not happy with the speed of our reel, didn't we?
Yeah.
And so people were commenting. So there was like a sort of a kind of two sides. One side were commenting about how ridiculous it was because it was too fast and you couldn't read it. And then the other side were going, don't be so stupid, just hit pause. And so basically what that meant is there was this kind of argument going on our comments on our reel. And then Instagram was like, oh, people like this because they're commenting on it. And they kind of pushed it and it went viral and we got 250,000 views in one day. So it was like, and we were like, no.
Totally unintentional. And then there's people in the comments going, they do this on purpose. And we're like, we had no idea. We had no idea.
They're scammers. Like, this is they're there to make money. I'm like, oh, we wish. You know what I mean? It was like, yeah. And so it was. So that was quite interesting. But we did have a reel more recently go viral, like over 500,000 views for all of the right reasons that people loved, right? And so, and that makes a big difference because a viral reel means lots of new people coming into our world. So it's been interesting.
Yeah. And of course, because then Leslie, who loves looking at numbers and views and that kind of thing, and then I get this WhatsApp at 10 o'clock at night going, Ingrid, we're going on TikTok and YouTube Shorts next. And I'm like, oh, okay. This is typically Leslie, right? So you think I only see Leslie between like 9 and 5:30. Oh no, in the evening, I got an idea. I've seen this. This is cool. And then suddenly you get I'm loving this whole Insta Reels. This is great. And I love it that we can reach so many more people with our important decluttering message. We're going on TikTok and YouTube Shorts. And I just went, okay, tell me if I need to do something or what I need to do.
The problem is on the slight downside on our TikTok and YouTube is that we don't have help in that area. I'm kind of flying solo on that. So who knows what that's going to be like. Do you know what I mean? But we're trying to. So if you are on any of those platforms, Instagram, TikTok or YouTube, or indeed Facebook, come and check us out and give us a follow or a like. Let us go viral. Help us go viral again. There's nothing more excited. I'm literally a kind of one of these ridiculously addicted people that is refreshing the reel like every 5 minutes to see how many more views I've got. Like and I'm like, what am I doing? Even my daughter was like, Mum, I was refreshing to see how many views you have. Even my daughter's doing it as well. This is not good, right? So but social media is important to be able to get our message out to the right people. We have been brave enough to go onto other platforms and see what's going on in the big wide world of socials, having kind of sort of shied against it. We just were like, oh, we just need to do what we're good at, which was the Facebook group, which we still absolutely love our Facebook community, right? Because we've got such a kind, warm, engaged, supportive community. And, you know, we make sure that we've got the right kind of people in there with the right kind of attitude towards others. That's what we try to create. And so we don't just let any old person in. You know, occasionally we get an odd person that comes in that's not quite what we're doing, that's there for ulterior motives, and we whip them out before we know it, because we're not having anybody. We're like protecting our family, right, Ingrid, in the Facebook.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. You know, the thing is, Leslie, if I think about the fact that we've got now something like 19,000 or 20,000 people in that group, and we've had maybe between 5 and 10 reported posts in the whole year. I'm like, wow, how amazing is that? You know, and we're on that, and we appreciate each and every one that's in our group, that also makes sure that group stays this warm, amazing place that it is, because it's important, and it's very important to us as well. So, but Leslie, we have not only done the podcast and socials, right? We've done lots the whole reason why we're here is because we've got a membership, and we help hundreds of people all over the world with their decluttering and organizing in our membership. And we've got loads of courses. We have live sessions. I mean, you know, we've told many times all the things that our membership entails, but we keep building on that. Although we're really getting there, aren't we? We're really getting there with all the information we want to put in. I mean, we started with like, let's do a course about the kitchen or the bathroom. And now it's like, wow, you know, you can really declutter and organize your whole house with all the information that's there. We've got all the support structures in place. We do live sessions where people can ask questions and do accountability. We've got our message boards where our members can share how they're doing themselves. But we still keep thinking of stuff that we want to put in. And it was this year not different. We did some fantastic things.
Yeah, I think, you know, we've had the membership for 4 years. Obviously been working on it for that same 5 years as the podcast. And so what we've been doing is we've been building up our library of content. And so you're right, Ingrid, in that it was a kind of, not a final product, but it was a whole kind of house done almost. So every room in the house was covered, right, within our membership. And so now what we've done this year is we've looked at other things, peripheral things that are really helpful to people to move their decluttering journey forward. So for example, we did a room of doom training. So obviously a bedroom might be someone's room of doom, a kitchen, but what we talked about was the logistics, didn't we? So we were like, okay, so if you've got a room that's completely overwhelmed and you're like, I don't even know where to start because I can't even get in the door, or it's just completely all over the place, or it's a mishmash of stuff, then how do you do that logistically? So we did a couple of masterclasses on that, didn't we? Then we did we've called in some experts as well this year, haven't we? Already had an expert the previous year. We had Sarah Bickers, who came in to do a couple of ADHD trainings for us, which were incredible. And this year we built on that as well. So we had Lisa Pantling come in to do 2 trainings on hoarding. So the first one was about what is hoarding, what are hoarding behaviors, what exactly is it, to get the terminology right, to understand what that represents, for both people who have hoarding behaviors and people within our communities who need to understand what that is and how potentially it's different from having a lot of clutter. You know, it's important for us to, you know, use the right terminology, understand what the difference is. And so we talked about what it is. And then we talked about practical steps that you can take if you have hoarding behaviors. And of course, all of the things that Lisa spoke about are equally attributable to people who don't have hoarding behaviors. So it wasn't just, oh, if you've got hoarding behaviors, this is the training for you. Everybody loved it, loved Lisa's delivery and what she was sharing.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it was fantastic. Absolutely. And I you know, it's great to get an expert that knows a lot about the subject in. And I mean, same, we did a photo organizing. We had Mel come in. I think it was last year already. And feels shorter, doesn't it? But I think it was last year that we had a photo organizer in.
No, it's got to be this year. No, you're saying it's last year?
Yeah.
What, like as in 2022?
Yeah.
Oh my word, that feels like yesterday. Oh, really? Where's the time going? My life is hurtling along in front of me.
Well, that's because, Leslie, this year we did indeed the Room of Doom training, we did the hoarding masterclasses, and we also did, remember, over the summer, we did a digital deep dive. When we went 3 months, we did digital content. We've never done digital before. So we did a live session about how to deal with contacts, one about how to deal with emails, and one how to deal with passwords. And they were so popular. So we did that, remember, besides, of course, our A to Z challenge and our 40 days, 40 items challenge. So photo organizing was last year.
No, I don't know what to feel about the fact that that's like over a year ago. Anyway, so that's where we've gone. So we're still trying to think about new ways to cover different topics that we've not covered before. I mean, obviously, all of these things that we've done masterclasses on are things that our members ask us about in Q&As. And so we cover the content, any content about anything we cover in Q&As. People ask specific questions about digital, about hoarding, about photos from 2022, all of those things. We cover those things anyway. So you don't have to wait until there's a course on it, because the question can be asked or in the forum or whatever. But I think that's where we're going with things at the moment, isn't it? It's more like, right, is there an area that we're not absolute experts in, or someone's got more expertise than us, or something that we've not quite covered? And we've got some great ideas, of course, for 2024 coming up as well, haven't we? Yeah. So already in progress, already in the bag and ready to go, which is exciting for 2024. So the membership, we saw huge growth this year. We've had fabulous people. Our community is stronger than ever. We're so proud of everything that our members do. And yeah, we're lucky. We are like proud mums, aren't we?
Well, for sure, Leslie. Absolutely. I mean, every time, whether it's in our Facebook group, whether it's on our socials, whether it's in our membership, and people do like cool stuff, or they've got a breakthrough, they've got a mindset shift. We're like, oh my gosh, that's so amazing. We're so proud of you. And this is so fantastic. And of course, I get to do a lot of that because I do a lot in the membership with the members forum. So I see a lot of the journeys that our members go through. And I'm like, and I was like, well done. Fantastic work. Keep going. Thumbs up. And because, it's so important to have that positive output and to hear and say to other people that they're doing a really, really good job, because I think we're always so hard on ourselves. So I think it's really important that, we say, go on, keep going, and give yourself a pat on the back and well done. And I know you think it's a small step, but it's really big, and be positive about it. So yeah, I love that.
Yeah, it never ever gets old, does it? Seeing success from other people never gets old. And when we stop getting excited by it, that's the time to stop, right? But for now, before we carry on waxing lyrical, let us go to a break.
Hi, everyone. Welcome back. We're chatting about 2023. I've already thrown Leslie a curveball because she's thought that something happened this year. Well, it actually happened last year. So yes, time flies when you're having fun. And we've done stuff indeed, like we said before the break, with the podcast, in the membership, on our socials. But there's been even more. There's more.
Yes. Now, there are two things, Ingrid, and I know exactly when they happen. So this is a good thing, which is our Reset Your Home Challenge. We keep on bringing it back because it's so popular and so transformational for so many people.
Yeah.
And so every time because Ingrid and I have meetings about what we're going to do for the next quarters and all that kind of stuff. And we always throw the Reset Your Home Challenge into the hat to like, should we change it up? Should we do something different? And we always come to the conclusion, it's just so powerful for people that we're going to keep it as it is. We're going to make some tweaks. We'll change some bonuses. We might change some rooms, all of those things. But ultimately, the concept of the Reset Your Home Challenge, which covers lots of different emotions and lots of different practical tips throughout little bits across the house, is really powerful, I think. So if it ain't broke, don't fix it, as they say.
I know. And I'm already so excited because we're like gearing up for next week. We're starting, right, on the 3rd of January. So yes, we are back. I mean, you know what? We love it. It's got to be honest, it's quite tiring to go live 5 or 6 or 7 days in a row, but we can see the impact it has on people, and the light bulbs that go off, and the way people change the way they think about cluttering themselves and their homes, and the changes they can make. And it's just wonderful.
Exactly. So this year is going to be interesting because of the where it falls. And so we're always in a bit of a dilemma in terms of where New Year falls every year, because we believe that people who make a kind of, well, whether it's a resolution, a decision, whatever you want to call it, ultimately people do, whether we like it or not, whether we agree with New Year's resolutions, people go, I'm going to declutter my house in 2024. That's kind of a thing, right? And we think that once you've made that decision in your mind, you want to get on with it. Yeah, don't wait. You don't want to wait until the 9th of January or whatever. In our opinion, and we might be wrong, you're like, I want to get straight onto it. And so we'll try and do it as soon as we can, not New Year's Day, but as soon as we can. After that, we will try and get going. And normally we have time to do it maybe Monday to Friday, or we might do a Saturday. But this year we're going all the way through the weekend. And it'll be interesting, won't it, to see whether or not people like the weekend slots, don't like the weekend slots. But it's going to be, straight back into the new year with a bang for us too, with no days off in the first week. So but we do love it. Like we said right at the beginning, going live and sharing stuff is really what makes us tick. So get ready for that. Sign up 3rd of January. You've not got long now. Yeah. We want as many people as possible. And we get so many people coming back. How many people have repeated the Reset Your Home Challenge? Keep coming back every year, just because you never know what's going to come out of our mouth. We say different things every single time. It's not... It's similar content, but it's definitely not the same, right? We have no idea what we're going to say before we even go live. So who knows, Ingrid?
That is true. That is true. And of course, in 2023, we also did the Reset Your Home Challenge, but we also had 2 other things that we did. We did a Purge Your Paperwork Challenge, and we did a Craft Masterclass as well.
I know the Purge Your Paperwork Challenge was interesting because we did it in a different format, didn't we? Because it's not that exciting. Try as we might to make paperwork exciting, it's a little bit on the dry side. So we did something with like pre-recorded videos and then live sessions, and it worked really well. So we're really happy with the way that people engage with the Purge Your Paperwork Challenge. If you need to do paperwork, it was a great way to get things kick-started, wasn't it? And then we delved into craft, which we had been putting off for like forever, but we knew that people want to be like, talk about craft, and we're like, but we don't know a button from a acrylic. Do you know what I mean? So then we worked out that actually we don't need to know a button from an acrylic, and that we could deliver our content, and we did, and people loved it.
I know. It's just been fab, and we love thinking of new stuff. So we're already thinking ahead, right? You think you might still be firmly 2023, but we've been thinking about 2024 for ages already, because we want to think about, okay, what's the next thing we want to do? Because we want to do other things as well, and just keep it interesting for you and for ourselves.
Absolutely. So it was a great year, right? Within the membership, within our communities. Do you know what was also really cool in 2023, Ingrid? Which was, we kind of went back to where it all started for you and I. So for anybody that doesn't know, Ingrid and I met on the board of the Association of Professional Declutterers and Organisers. Ingrid was the president because she likes to be at the top and in the limelight all the time, basically. Then I did all the hard work and she ordered it all about. Am I right?
You're such a liar.
Ingrid was the figurehead and I was the lackey behind who did loads of work. But anyway, no, by the by. So we met on the Association of Professional Declutterers and Organisers, like, I don't know, 9 years ago, 10 years ago.
Yeah.
Something like that. And we worked together on the board for many, many years, and we kind of gelled, even though we're completely different people, as you might have gathered. And while we were working for the Association of Professional Declutterers and Organisers, one of the things that we did was started up a training program for professional organisers. So we wrote the first professional organising course, a starter course, an intermediate course for professional organisers. And we loved training professional organisers because we just love everything about decluttering. We love the people that go out there and help other people to do it. And so, but then that all stopped when the Declutter Hub started. But then we had this like yearning, didn't we, Ingrid, to kind of return back to our roots for training other professional organisers. So this year we did.
Yes, Leslie, absolutely. I mean, we've been talking about it for many years that we wanted to do something again with professional organizers. And this year we bit the bullet and went, right, let's just do it. How are we going to do it? What do we want? What do we want to share? And we said, let's just set up a Prosper program because we want professional organizers to prosper in their own business and also have that wonderful feeling that you get when you work with people and you help them declutter and organize their homes. So it's been just lovely. It's been absolutely lovely.
You know, and the interesting thing about it, Ingrid, is, we've only got a small number of people within the Prosper program. And so we're literally more or less working one-to-one with loads of people, aren't we? And so we can really, really make a difference. And so it's just so lovely. It's just such a lovely thing to do. So it's like we just have a nice time, don't we? Sharing what we know. And, it's the same as the Q&As. We just have a lovely time, really. And we're just doing it to a different audience. So we're talking very much about how to build a business around professional organizing. And so, all of the stuff that we've been talking about, social media and websites and all the boring stuff that you kind of enjoy, hopefully, but is a bit annoying to have to do behind the scenes when all you want to do is go out there and, in our case, talk about it, or in professional organizers' case, go and help a client one-to-one in their home.
Yeah,
it would be amazing if we could do that all the time, but there's a whole heap of other stuff that you've got to do to keep the wheels of business turning. And so that's what we do with our Prosper program, which has been amazing and an amazing addition this year, hasn't it?
Yeah, I'm really, really enjoying it. And I think as well, talking about the association, we went to their conference this year, but not only as attendees, but we were also speakers. So we were actually on stage in front of 100 professional organizers here in the UK, and we delivered a talk. And that was the first time we did that. So that was very exciting as well.
It's a very excitable bunch, isn't it? A very organized, excitable bunch. When you go to the outdoor conference. Yeah, it's all very kind of meticulous and organized and happy, really, because everybody who is a professional organizer loves the job that we do, because it's a privileged position to be able to help people in their homes to sort of transform things, isn't it? So it's a nice place to be, the outdoor conference. So we were delighted to be asked to talk at it.
Yeah.
So Ingrid, now we've spoken about you being, loving being in the limelight, and your dreams came true this year, didn't they?
I know. We got a request from ITV saying, hi, Katie Piper is back on Sunday Breakfast Show, and we would love to invite you as a guest. And you were on holiday. So I was like, oh. So, and I actually, although I loved it, I was a bit nervous, and I was a bit, that was like quite scary. But yeah, I was on telly back in June already, Leslie. Can you believe it? And I loved every moment. I mean, the whole TV thing is like crazy. You wait around and then suddenly you get whisked onto the stage, and boom, the lights and the camera action, basically. And I absolutely loved it. And we were lucky enough to get the whole recording. You can watch it on our YouTube channel if you want to. And everybody went, wow, you can talk so well. And I'm like, well, I've been doing this for quite a long time,
I know, but it's, it does add a new dimension, really, TV, and cameras, and, you're not the thing for me is you're not really in control of, they don't tell you like what you're going to talk about. They just put you on the spot, and you've just got to hope that you make sense, right?
Yeah.
And again, it's quite brief. We're not known for our brevity, are we? Yeah. And so no, it was fantastic. You did an amazing job flying the Declutter Hub flag on the Katie Piper show. So do tune into our YouTube channel if you've not seen that, and see Ingrid in the limelight.
Yeah.
So talking about your year, Ingrid, we have done some personal things, right?
I know. I'm just saying, I haven't done anything else besides work. I mean, I know it's kind of work and hobby and all of that, but we have done some other stuff in our personal lives as well, haven't we?
We have. So what's your highlight? What's your personal highlight of the year? Okay, I'm going to give you a personal highlight and a business highlight.
Okay, well, the personal highlight for me is easy because, of course, I turned 50 this year.
Highlight? Is that literally a highlight?
Oh, it was amazing. I loved my party.
Oh, I'm not talking about the party. I'm talking about the turning 50.
Oh no, it was the party. It was the highlight. Yeah, no, I loved it, and it was you were there and celebrated with me, and yeah, lots of friends and family were there, and I just had an absolute blast. I'm gonna enjoy looking back on those pictures and those videos, and it was just, oh my gosh, what a day, and what a couple of days I had with people coming all in and flying in and coming by boat and by train, by just to celebrate with me. And it was just wonderful. I had such a good time. So yeah, that was definitely the personal highlight. How about you? What was your personal highlight, Leslie?
Yeah, I think mine is similar to yours, Ingrid, because there's something very nice about the bringing together of family and friends. But there was a whole new dimension. So I was married for 30 years back in September, and my kids threw a surprise party for me. I mean, yours was not a surprise, like you booked the whole thing and arranged it. Mine was a surprise, and it actually was a surprise, which for me, who's a bit of a control freak, not as much as you, I hasten to add, I was like, oh, gosh, straight away, like, what have they done? Thankfully my house is clean and tidy and all those kind of things. So once I got over my kind of control freakishness, it was amazing. It was just so lovely, and they've been so thoughtful. It's extra special that my kids did it for me.
Yeah.
I
can't even believe that they got away with you sorting that all out without you knowing.
I can't. I literally can't, because the signs, retrospectively, the signs were there. It was obvious.
Yeah,
really obvious. But somehow I just lived in they told me we were going out, so I knew we were doing something, but I just had no idea that it was going to be a party. I suppose I just didn't think that they would ever be able to pull that off, particularly as a surprise, but they did. So it was incredible. So that was lovely back in September. That was definitely my personal highlight of the year.
You know what? It just shows you that really it's about family and friends and those special moments, isn't it? We've not even talked about stuff for presents we were given or anything. It's the time spent with family and friends that's so important, isn't it? And okay, all right. So then to wrap this up, if we look at our business and work highlights, you asked me what did stand out for me. Well, I think, yeah, it must be, of course, I think the going on the telly with the Katie Piper TV show. That was, I think, fantastic. And I think podcast-wise, I really want to mention the fact that we were asked by Clutterbug to go on her podcast. That was phenomenal to be asked to go into her show. And that gave us kind of we should ask Peter Walsh to come onto the podcast. So that was fantastic. And also to have Carl Honoré on the podcast. I'm really proud of that podcast as well. I was really proud of how that interview went. And yeah, so were definitely the highlights for me. How about you, Leslie?
Yeah, do you know what? This is going to sound a little bit strange, really, but I think my personal podcast highlight this year was the one that I recorded with my son, Luke. And so basically, Luke came onto the podcast, I don't know, a while ago to talk about his kind of ADHD journey. Got diagnosed with ADHD, I think, last year. Mm-hmm. Although who knows, it might be 2020 for all I know. Do you know what I mean? I think it was last year. And, so I invited him onto the podcast to talk about his journey, and the comments, the emails, all of the stuff that came through from that was incredible. So that landed really well with so many people. And of course, because it was my son, it adds an extra dimension of sort of pride, really, doesn't it? So I think that was my highlight, because it was important to me, and it was lovely for him because I was sending all the comments and everything on to him as well. So yeah, I think that was my personal highlight as well this year. I think that, from a business perspective, it's really hard. We've gone through all of those things that we've done, but I think what are my highlights? I think really it's two things. Can I choose two? I think the first one is, I think our community, wherever that is, our podcast listeners, our Facebook group, our membership, it just keeps on growing into this beautiful set of people with one common goal that all support each other. And that never, ever gets old. Like I've said before, it's just so special to be able to be kind of at the helm, even though it kind of runs itself, right? So, to be at the helm of that and to be steering the ship a little bit within that, and to be making such a big difference to to people, or building a community where people can support each other to make a difference. And everyone's doing their own work here. Do you know what I mean? But it's just so lovely, and we're really lucky to be able to do that. But I think the other thing, which is, it is a highlight, it is astonishing that we are still here together, you and I, having fun and laughing through the year, even 5 years later. This is, did we think that we'd still be having this much fun 5 years later? We actually have way more fun now than we did 5 years ago, right? And the only way we can do it really is laughing. So I think it is a highlight to be able to spend pretty much every day with you as well.
Yeah. Well, right back at you, Leslie.
Oh.
So Happy New Year to you and to all of our listeners. And also, of course, to our wonderful assistant, Ross, who is there working away behind the scenes, to all the other people that you've met in episode 250 that help us to do what we love and treasure so much. Thank you for being here. We hope you've enjoyed looking back with us. We hope you're excited about 2024 and all the fun that is coming your way here in the Declutter Hub. We can't do it without you. And as always, we appreciate you listening in, week out so much. And we'll see you in the new year.
You're listening to the Declutter Hub podcast, bringing you tried and tested, no-nonsense tips and advice from the leading experts in decluttering and organising your home. Now here are your hosts, Ingrid Jansen and Leslie Spellman.
Hello and welcome, listeners. I'm Ingrid.
And I'm Leslie.
If you're new to the Declutter Hub podcast, you're so welcome. What you'll find is that we try and find a fun factor in the serious business of decluttering. And if you've been here for a while, you know exactly what we mean. So thank you so much for listening.
If you'd like to get involved in conversations relating to this podcast, it all takes place in our Facebook group. So come and join our lovely, warm, supportive community. To find the Facebook group, go to declutterhub.com/group to find out more, or you can search for the Declutter Hub community on Facebook.